Labour's ANC-alliance partner, COSATU, says a coalition government between the ANC and DA will not benefit workers. For the first time in 30 years, the governing party failing to obtain a majority to form a new government on their own. Luthuli House says it's met with at least 6 political parties with the view of forming some kind of coalition or a government of national unity. Let's speak now to COSATU's General Secretary, Phetoe, who joins us via our video link for more. Soli, it's great to have you on the SABC. Thanks very much indeed for making time. I think most people agree this is all complex and none of the organizations involved in these talks have the luxury of being able to draw hard lines in the sand. With that in mind, why is COSATU against the ANC working with the DA?
Well, thank you very much, and good morning to yourself and your viewers. I think we've made it very clear that as a labor organization, in particular COSATU, representing over 1.5 million, we will never agree. We reject a coalition with DA, and our reasons, few of them, even if we may not be able to say all of them here, but one of them is that we don't think that we would allow that on the basis that DA has went publicly to say the workers in this country, they've got too many labor rights, therefore the labor rights must be reduced to nothing. In fact, from what they are saying is that they would want to take us back to before 1994. They've also made some statement and a public announcement even yesterday that whether they're in coalition with the ANC or they're in government or not, or they want to work together in the government, the government national of unity, they are going to continue with their attack to take the issue of the national health insurance in court. You will recall that immediately after May Day, on the 2nd of May, DA picket at COSATU House, demanding that COSATU must work with them to reject the national minimum wage. It means that they're saying the vulnerable workers who are under attack must go back to the 6 rand per hour after 1994, after 30 years in democracy. They are not supporting any policies that advance the agenda of the workers and the working class in this country. Therefore, as COSATU, we would agree to work with any political party with coalition, the ANC, that will protect the labor laws, social wages, and make sure that there's an investment in the working class communities.
Yeah.
We will not work with the DA. That we want to make it very clear to the public. Our farm workers, as we speak, 2 days ago, I had to go to the farm areas where one of the white person dismissed 360 workers for going to go and exercise their rights to vote. They don't even know whether those workers voted for ANC or they voted for DA, but just because those workers, it was a public holiday, they went to go and vote, and DA said nothing. They never rejected or condemned that. Again, just before election, a worker was maluted and killed by pit bulls that belongs to a white person. DA never said anything. Therefore, tells you that the workers under the government of DA, it will be nothing.
It's interesting that you speak about investments, because we've heard a lot of commentary, of course, around what the markets is likely to find more palatable insofar as a coalition partner is concerned. And interestingly, it seems that the markets are more available to the idea of an ANC and DA kind of coalition working for them. If that were to be true, the argument goes as follows: allow the ANC and the DA to have this coalition, allow the economy to grow, hopefully create jobs, and ultimately benefit the workers. What's your response to that?
I don't think it will benefit the workers under the leadership of the ANC. I mean, under the leadership of, under the leadership of, or in coalition with DA. DA would want to just to be there for their own personal interest, not for the interest of workers. And we know who's pushing that. It's business, and it's business communities that are pushing that the ANC should have a coalition with DA. And as I said, under the leadership or the coalition of DA, we don't think that the workers will benefit. We have been faced, as we speak now, we are faced with the Section 189, where DA managers, DA people are leading those companies. Workers are facing with Section 189 with retrenchment where we're sitting. The economy is facing challenges, especially where the DA it is. You will recall also in 2019, we have forced the government to convene a national job summit. And what we saw, all of them in that job summit, they made a commitment, including government. What we saw from the side of business, those who belong to DA and some of the business people, it was an investment strike, which is against the benefit to the workers.
All right. That being said, the DA did get 3.5 million votes, right? And there's going to be a lot of conversations around what would happen to those individuals and their voice, so to speak. And who knows, perhaps some people who voted for the Democratic Alliance consider themselves as being part of Labour. The question I'm trying to get at is that it's very difficult to imagine any kind of government that excludes the top three. And in my mind, that's precisely what you've done. Are you not concerned about any kind of, I don't know, social unrest, for lack of a better term, that may come as a result of that?
You know, we're concerned about the social unrest or anybody who will try to cause violence in the outcome of the election. But as I said, we would want the protection of the labor laws, social wages, and make sure that no one is going to come to be a part of the ANC and say they demand the scrapping of the labor laws or NHI or any policy that advance the agenda of the working class in this country.
All right. And I suppose the obvious question then is, who would the ideal partner be insofar as COSATU is concerned, right? We've very clear about who you think should not be seated on that table. But then outside of the ANC, with whom, of course, you've already had a partnership for years, who do you think will complement the governing party to drive through some of the interests of workers then?
Well, we are still in engagement, in consultation with the members. Yesterday, with a leadership engagement, and we allow our unions to go back and engage in their individual structures. We will come back in the next few days against, and so that we're able to put our position clearly. But as I said, with DA, MK, it's a no from the discussion of the leadership. So, as I said, we would want to work with anybody who will work with the African National Congress to protect the rights of the workers. So, for now, I may not pronounce the discussion of yesterday until we're able to communicate it properly with our constitutional structures, which we're doing from today until next week, Tuesday, Wednesday.
All right, so Phetoe, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. We can't wait to hear what the outcome of those discussions are, given, of course, what's at stake. Phetoe is the General Secretary of COSATU. Thanks very much indeed for speaking to us.